Welcome back, everyone. I'd like you all to consider Ephesians 4, verses 31 and 32 this week. They say, "Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you, with all malice, and be ye kind one to another, tenderhearted, forgiving one another, even as God for Christ's sake hath forgiven you." Many people understand that it's a bad thing to be angry or to be filled with wrath in some way, but that doesn't mean that it's so easy to avoid doing it. In fact, much of the time, in trying to suppress these feelings, people end up displaying bitterness towards others, speaking negatively or in an evil way about them, or just generally showcasing malice towards others. And Paul says that all of this is something that we should put aside and stop as Christians. In fact, even being clamorous or being full of discord is a bad thing as well. Paul doesn't encourage us, however, to simply stop doing these things. He also encourages us to do what is right, to be kind, to be thoughtful of others, to be tender-hearted, and to have forgiving and kind spirit, just as God, in sending his Son for us, demonstrated his forgiveness and his great love for us. In fact, only through the love of God is any of this possible in the first place. Many people end up being frustrated and discouraged when they try to take Paul's advice and apply it to their lives themselves, because the human nature is only evil continually, and it is selfish and seeks after self first and foremost. So even if we try to show love and kindness to others, we will inevitably end up failing in some way. So Paul isn't reminding us of this to try to tell us to do it of ourselves, but to remind us that when we see ourselves becoming discouraged and becoming selfish or being more focused on self than on showing love and kindness to others, that's when we should return to Jesus and seek the love of God once again in a greater and in a more abundant way. And once we have received the love and the Spirit of God, we will be equipped and we will be able to show that love, and that love will be shown naturally in our actions and how we treat others. Peter reminds each of us in 1 Peter 4 verse 8 to love one another abundantly, because love can cover a multitude and will cover a multitude of sins. The reminder is for us all to seek the love of Christ and to seek the Spirit of Christ in our life, because that's the only way to truly have the spirit of forgiveness and kindness and love that we need.